Great. Now, let us start. So today we will be covering these points. What is test automation? Why do we require test automation? Automation testing of different apps. We'll have introduction to Selenium. We'll see about the architecture and framework of Selenium, and we will understand the locators. Also, we will have a small demo of Selenium project. So let's go ahead and see what is test automation. So what do we mean by automation as such? Automation is something which is automatically being done. We are not doing it manually, right? So say for example, I tell you that what is 2 plus 2? Even if I don't ask you the answer would automatically come in your mind. So, this is what is automation. You are not thinking, I mean, you are not deliberately thinking about it, but it is happening on its own. So, that is what it is written here. Execution, so here it is written in terms of, Selenium. So, it is execution of already scripted tests on a software application before it is released on the production is test automation. So, here we are talking about already scripted tests. So, before testing it, before executing it, any particular code, we script it and we keep it. We do review and we keep it on the system. And now this already scripted test is executed. Okay, as 2 plus 2, we have already practiced it many times and it comes automatically. Similarly, here we have already scripted the test. It is there and we are running it on the system, and everything is happening automatic. So this is test automation. Let us go ahead now. Why is it required? Okay. um, so basically we talk about automation when there are something which are repetitive. Okay. um, we are repeatedly doing that particular task. For example, regression testing and smoke testing. Whenever we are getting any build, okay, we are doing smoke test on the build to know that okay, the system is stable enough to go ahead with the testing part. So here what we can do is we can automate that part. So normally we take 1 hour to 1.5 hours, to do the smoke testing. Now, when it is automated, it is done. This whole testing part, the smoke testing part, is done in say about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so huge amount of time is now saved, and upfront that okay, the system is stable or not. And if it is not stable, you can go ahead and work with other features which you have in your bucket, and you can simply tell the developer that the build is not stable, and Zoom, could you please go on mute? Okay, so we were talking about automation of the smoke testing. So yes, after automation of smoke testing, you know whether the build is stable or not, and you can go ahead depending on the results. Similarly, is the case with even regression test cases. Normally, we do regression testing often, and it is a must before making a release or product. But then regression part itself takes 1 day or 2 days, and it keeps on increasing as our features development. So why not automate that? Okay, so automating that would actually save much of our time, and we can give fast and stable release on production. So that is why we need automation. Again, the other parts are that if we are giving a good quality release on the production, it boosts the morale of the development department, which includes development team plus testing team. Okay. Also, the accuracy in the results is very high. Okay. So that way we yeah, there is yes, Swapnali and Prakriti. I even I can see. Um, yeah, that is because uh, okay. So I hope now it is clear to everyone. My voice. Great, great. Uh, okay. So now now let's go ahead. So next point is automation testing for different apps. Okay, so we have got many tools in the market available for automating different apps. Okay, let's move ahead and check the automation testing of different apps. So basically, in general, we have three types of application. Okay, in the market. So one of them is a web-based application. Another is mobile applications, and the third one is desktop applications. So let us see them one by one. For web-based application, we can use Selenium, QTP, Watif, Sahi, and there are many more. But I have taken these examples. Um, so in these, the only commercial tool I have taken as example is QTP. Okay, others are open source. Similarly, we have mobile. We have uh, Robotium, Selendroid, Monkey Runner, and APM for mobile application testing. So and the third one is desktop applications, wherein we have Ranorex and Test Complete Desktop. So these are a few of the automation tools which are available in the market. Today we will be looking into Selenium because it is widely used in the market today. Um, and let us go ahead and check what is Selenium. Basically, Selenium is an open source, and we use Selenium for automation of the test cases. Okay, and it focuses basically on web-based applications, and it does not covers desktop applications. Okay, even for mobile applications, we have Selendroid available. So Selenium is one of the most widely used open source in these days. There are 4 components in Selenium. So these 4 components we'll see one by one. So one is Selenium Integrated Development Environment, that is Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE is a Firefox plugin, okay, and we cannot use Selenium IDE on other browsers like Chrome or IE, okay. And here, what we do is it supports recording and playback. So whatever we are doing on the application, we are recording it, and then we are simply doing playback to run that thing. Okay, so the main thing is here that it has no support for iterations and loops. So if you want to include any condition while testing something, that is not supported. Okay, and again, the test execution is comparatively slow than Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver. So that is why it came up with other tools, other components. The second one was Selenium Remote Control. Okay, I can see so many chats. Okay, no audio. Uh, Srijit, can't you hear me? Others, can you hear me? Could you please confirm? Yeah, great. So, Srijit, I think you will have to check your audio because everyone can hear me. So, could you please check? Uh, yeah, great. Thank you. Kaushik, Techcanvass is recording. Yeah. Parul, I think you will have to check your audio settings, okay? And Techcanvass team will share it with you later. So that is not an issue. Great. So let us go ahead with the components. Okay. So the second component is Selenium control, remote control. And it was the first testing framework created by Selenium. Before this, we were using Selenium IDE, but it was not that much, useful because, already as I have told you, iterations and loops were not covered. So if I want to, check some conditions, it was not supported. So that is why remote control came into existence. And now people had the, that option to use any programming language to automate. So it supported Java, Ruby, Perl, PHP. So there were many. Um, and now in Selenium RC, we used to have a server which in fact must be, started before using it. Now and it used to, inject a JavaScript which was, running the test cases, the test scripts. So to overcome that thing, the Selenium team came up with one more component, which was Selenium Webdriver. Okay, and it now it was found that it is better than Selenium IDE and RC. Okay, it doesn't rely on the JavaScript for automation. Okay, so it directly used to communicate with the browser and used to control the browser. So Selenium WebDriver of uh, was of great use when it came into market. And then again there was one small loophole, that parallelly in Selenium WebDriver you cannot execute the test scripts parallelly on different machines and different browsers. So now they came up with one more thing, which was Selenium Grid. So what happens here? We had this option to now have a hub connected with different nodes, and these different nodes will have different browsers and different configurations on their machines. So now this hub acted as central source of Selenium commands for each of the nodes, and it used to run the script. And on all the other uh, nodes, everything was running on the machine. So now we know where my script is failing. Yeah, Swapnali, go ahead. So till Swapnali comes up with a doubt, let us go ahead and see. Now that is the part of architecture. Okay, Selenium WebDriver directly is yeah, RC was dependent on JavaScript because it used to inject a core JavaScript thing, with the in the driver in the browser, and it used to, execute the script. Okay, so that is not there in WebDriver. In WebDriver, it is directly communicating, and we will check this in the framework part. Okay, Swapnali? Yeah. Okay, great. So let's go ahead. Now, let's see how Selenium and QTP are different. Okay, so the first and foremost thing is Selenium is an open source. It uses Java. Again, you don't have to pay for Java. Okay, and no license is needed. So your you save money there. Okay, and in QTP, yeah, it is again a good tool, but it is a commercial tool which needs license. Okay, so here people have to invest to get the tool itself. Okay, now the second point is we have many options available for programming. So say for example, we have Python, Perl, Ruby, PHP, Java. Yes, one more query I think from someone. Yes. Champa framework part, Selenium WebDriver framework, we will be looking into this a little later, but you'll have to wait for say 5 minutes, I think, because I'll be going in flow. So right now we are seeing the differences and then it will come. Okay? Yeah. So let's go ahead. So yeah, we were talking about the programming languages which are supported by Selenium. So it supports many programming languages. Okay, so a person who doesn't know PHP can go ahead and check the and do the um, scripting in other languages. So it is a benefit of using Selenium. However, in QTP you should know VBScript. It is a must. Okay, so it is more flexible. Okay, now the third point is Selenium supports various browsers and operating systems. Okay, um, so as we saw in Grid, it supports different browsers. So it supports your Safari, it supports Firefox, Chrome, IE. Okay, but on the other hand, in QTP, it supports the operating system which is Windows. Okay. However, in Selenium, it supports other operating systems as let it be Unix, let it be Windows, let it be Mac. But QTP supports only Windows, and the browsers it supports is Firefox, IE, and Chrome. Okay. Now, Selenium supports mobile devices as well. So we have now Selenium in the market. So again, it supports mobile devices. However, for QTP, again, we will have to be dependent on a third-party software. Okay. Um, Also, now we'll look on the some limitations of Selenium. So one of them is it doesn't have native support to generate test reports. Okay, so we have to depend on some other third-party tools, like when we are using TestNG has its own reporting method, reporting tool. So we use that, but test reports are generated automatically in QTP. And again, Selenium supports only the web applications. And QTP supports both desktop and web applications. Now, one more point is, um, testing web applications on Selenium, since it is open source and you're not paying for it. Okay, you get the flexibility as well, and you can make the changes as you want in Selenium. Okay, you have support groups available on the internet who can help you as well. So I would suggest Selenium better than QTP. Even with these limitations, it is of much great use. We can go through different options available in market, to get the reports. Okay. Now let us go ahead and see the Selenium architecture. Okay. So here on the screen, you can see three different sections as such. Okay. So so basically, as a beginner, one can think that Selenium is directly driving the browser. Okay, but this is not so. Okay, there is actually a bit more going on behind the scene, which we cannot see. Okay, so as in the screen it is shown, we have three sections. The first one is bindings, which is language binding. We have C hash, Java, Python, Ruby, and there are many more. Okay, and the second is Selenium Webdriver API. Okay, and the third one is drivers. So let us understand these one by one. The first one is language level binding. So we can use any language for writing the test scripts. Okay, these languages actually interact with the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, Selenium WebDriver again has a common API which interacts with various bindings of these different languages. So this API is of much use. So the second section is about this Selenium WebDriver API. Okay, so as we have already seen in the first section, the bindings are interacting with the Selenium WebDriver API. Now, what this API does is it interprets the commands, okay, which we send through these languages, okay, and it interprets it and it then sends it to the respective drivers in the driver section. So that is why when we write the program, first of all we mention which driver we want to use. And so for example, we want Firefox driver, we will have to initiate driver as Firefox driver. If we want to use IE driver, we will have to initiate. For Chrome, IE, and other, you will have to get the drivers from the net. Okay, from the internet you'll have to get it, and then you'll have to mention the path where it is kept. But for Firefox, you don't need it. It is inbuilt in Selenium. Okay. So this is how this API works. And the third point is the drivers itself. So here we can see that various browser specific drivers are there, right? So now what happens? These browser specific drivers know the low level details of the respective browsers. So Firefox driver will know the low level details of Firefox. Okay, and it drives it to perform the actions like the button click, or navigating through the pages, or selecting a particular drop down value. Okay, so this is how Selenium architecture is. This is how Selenium WebDriver works. So I hope one of the questions was raised about how this is working. So I hope that is cleared now. Now let us go ahead and see the framework. Okay, so now framework development. So here what happens? We have a project, okay, and inside a project we define different sections which interact with each other, okay, and it gives a structure, a skeleton. It actually acts as a skeleton on which we can write our code and get them executed on the server which we want. So it may be the test server, it may be the staging server, right? So here we have a config file. Now what in config file? We may have object repository, we may have object repository property file, we may have a configuration property file. Now in object repository we can specify all the objects which are there on the browser, on the application, and in the configuration we can mention on which server we want to run it, what would be the username or password. If we are using DB, what would be the DB credentials. Okay, so everything would be there in configuration file. It is the things which are configurable. Even the browser type can be mentioned there. So if you want browser type as Chrome, you can mention that there, and depending on that browser, the application, the code will run. Okay. The second point is data set. So the data which you want to use, that can be mentioned in data set. Okay, UI maps, test scripts, reports. So these are different sections in which you can arrange your script. Okay, so now let us see what is framework. So framework is a set of protocols, rules, guidelines, and standards which are followed to create test scripts. As I told you previously, it is kind of a skeleton on which we are working. Now it has different rules, guidelines which we must follow, so that it is helpful for the developers. And here developers means automation testers who are developing the code. Okay, so it helps them to develop, execute, and give report, provide reports of the automation scripts. Also, the other benefits are, if you have a framework, your scripting becomes easy. You don't have to do repetitive coding scripting. So say for example a particular function is being used again and again throughout the application, you can mention it at one place and you can call that everywhere, but you will have to have a proper framework in place. This Then modularity, you can have different modules. Based on these modules you can write the scripting part. Then the understandability of the script increases. Okay, because everyone now in the team knows what the framework is and how the code will be written is now known to everyone, so they can understand the script in a much better way. Also it helps in cost reduction. Okay, and the script is more maintainable. Okay, because everything we know where what is placed, so we know what changes and where what changes we should do, so that everything is taken care of, nothing breaks in between. So maintainability is one of the main part in frameworks. We have different types of frameworks, so let's see them. First one is data driven testing framework. The next one is keyword driven testing framework, then the hybrid testing framework, and then the behavior driven development testing framework. So as we see here, data driven testing framework, so testing same functionality with multiple test data. If this is your requirement, then you should go with test data driven testing framework. Okay, and here what happens, the test data is stored in some external database. So it can be an Excel sheet wherein you are keeping the data and you are retrieving the data from the Excel sheets. The second one is keyword driven data framework. So here we are not saving the test data. Here we have different keywords, and based on the keywords my test case should be executed. Okay, and again these are kept in some external file, and again this external file can be an Excel sheet. Okay, so as in the table you can see here, we have written keyword, login, click link, verify link, and what they do. So if the keyword is login, so login to application, this is executed. If it is click link, then home page, we need to click on the home page. So this is the way it goes on. The third one is a hybrid testing framework. Okay, now it's a combination of more than one framework. It can be a combination of keyword driven plus test data driven. Okay, so that is what we have mentioned here. So here in the table you can see we have a column for keyword which has navigate, input, and verify user, verify link, click link, and in the data we have passed the values. Okay, the test data. So in the step 2 you can see enter username and the keyword is input, but the data we have used here is test data is user A. Okay, so this is the way hybrid framework works. We have both keyword and test data. Fine. And the last one is behavior driven development framework. Okay, so here basically this is used in cases when we want the business analysts and even sometimes the clients to understand what we are testing. So sometimes what happens, they don't know what are we automating. Okay, so in that case, how would how can we make it more understandable to them? Okay, so then in that case we can use behavior driven development framework. So the tools are JBehave and Cucumber, and it uses Gherkin language. So here we mention the test scenario, okay, and then we mention what is given, a set of preconditions, okay. So and when this is the event, then this should come, the output, this outcome should be achieved. So this is what is behavior driven development, okay. We are checking the behavior, and also it is most commonly used when we are doing UAT testing, okay, because in UAT mostly business analysts and clients are, you know, involved, okay. So this is behavior driven development. Now we will see we will have a demo, okay. And okay, so just before demo, let us look at the locators which are there in Selenium, okay. So one of the locators is ID, okay, and we can identify some element in the web application using the ID, okay, ID attribute. The other one is name, link text, partial link text, tag name, class name. So we will look into these. Let's see it in the demo, okay. So I will share um, so so can everyone see my screen? Okay, great. So let me know if it is not visible to you all. I hope it is visible, right? Great. Uh, so this is what is Selenium IDE. Okay. Yeah. This is the screen of Selenium IDE. You can get Selenium IDE from the net. Okay. From Selenium's website. Okay. And here you can have a new test case, okay. This is the structure. This is for running the test scripts which have been recorded, okay. Now I will try to record one test case for you all. um, so this is my screen, okay. Can you see the screen, this Techcanvass website? Great. So now I want to automate this website, and for doing that, what I can do is I can have my, can you see the Selenium IDE? Okay. Now what I will do is I will start recording. So for recording, you will have to press this red button. Okay. So I'll press this, and I am now recording. I'm clicking here. I am entering the contact details. So say for example, Selenium user, email ID selluser@test.com, contact number is something, webinar inquiry, and I have my test message, okay. So what I will do is I will write here test message, okay. Now, let me tell you one thing. CAPTCHA, here it is a CAPTCHA, okay, and CAPTCHA cannot be automated, and that is why it is CAPTCHA. Okay, we cannot automate CAPTCHA. So I'll record this much, okay, and then I will stop recording. So now what it has done is, let's see, the base URL is techcanvass.com. It has recorded it, okay, it has checked the title, it has clicked on the contact us link, okay. So I will go on the screen here. Yeah, so we had clicked here, so it has clicked on the contact us link, it has checked the title, and then it has clicked on the text name. The text name I had used was Selenium user. Similarly, the email selenium user at test.com. This is the contact number, this is the subject, I mean the drop down, which the option I selected was webinar inquiry, and the text message which I had entered. Now here these are the locators, okay. So this one is ID, this is name is a text message. Now this is the CSS, so these are XPaths, okay. So these are different types of XPaths based on the position, based on the relative. So these are the XPaths, okay. Now what I can do is I can simply execute it, okay. I'll play and it will run on its own, okay. I have played it. Now see, it is running on its own, okay. So here it has entered everything, and now it is done. See the screen here, it is all green, okay. So what happened here, everything has passed, so that is why it is green. If something is not passing, it will show it as red, okay. So this is what Selenium IDE. Okay, now here also we have the option to change it in the code we want. So what I have done is options, formats, and it was in HTML. I changed it into Java, okay, TestNG and WebDriver. So here I have used Java, so that is why it has given me the code in Java. This is in Java, okay. I hope this is everyone understood it. Great, thank you, Kalyani. Great. Um, so this is what IDE is. Okay, here you have the options to save this test case. You have the option to export this test case. You want to export it in the format you want. Okay, so you can do that. And uh, there are, okay, you have the option to if you want to run it slowly, you can do it from here. Okay, so this is Selenium ID. Now you cannot make any changes here. You cannot make changes in this code here. Okay, so for this was the limitation with Selenium IDE. So what happened? We came up with Selenium RC and Selenium Webdriver. Okay, so now let us go ahead and see. I will share with you my screen, which is Eclipse. So this is Eclipse. Everyone can see, I hope. Could you please confirm so that I can go ahead? Great, great. Thank you. So now let us see here. And okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Now this is what I have here. Okay. What I need to do is I will have to first download Eclipse. Okay. Yeah, Selenium ID. Yes, yes, yes. it handles. It sometimes handles, but sometimes it, it it behaves in a very weird manner, and sometimes, so this is what the challenge with Selenium IDE. Okay, sometimes it will show yes it is there, and the other time it will not handle the pop-up. Okay, the same thing is with other handles also, because for pop-up sometimes we have to use some logic as well. Okay, so that is why normally we the pop-ups which are, so see, the desktop pop-ups will never, I'm sorry, the browser pop-ups which are there in the application, that would be handled. Okay, okay, great. Now let us see uh, this Eclipse. Now what you will have to do is you will have to download Eclipse from the internet. Okay, you will have to install it, and you will have to also get the JDK of Selenium. Sorry, of JDK for Java, for setting it up in the Eclipse. Okay, because here I am using Java for automating. So what you will have to do is you will have to get the Java files. You will have to store. So what I have done is I have used Java 1.7. Okay, it is here. Can you see? Yeah, it is here. So I have kept it in the folder. I'll share the folder with you so that you understand it better. Here it is. It is Java. Okay, and here I have kept. Fine. The JDK version is here. Yeah. See, JDK 1.7, and I have used this one. Also, I will have to set the class path, the path, and in the environment variables. Okay. Okay. So after everything is done, the Java setup is done. After this Java setup is done, I can use it here. I can get it. 1 second. I will have to again share this. Yes. So I will go to build path, configure build path. Okay. I will have to add external jars. Okay. Now for Java, we have kept it in program files. It is here in Java. So this is where I will have to, one by one get everything. Okay. I will open it, and this way I will have to, get it uploaded. It is not showing me anything because I have already done so. It is already there in my library. Okay, so that is why it is not showing me these things. So similarly, I will have to get the jars for Selenium as well. Okay, so this right now the version when I was downloading it, the version was 2.53, and I downloaded it. Okay, and then these are the two jar files which I will have to. Yes, exactly, Siddeshwar. It depends on the language you are using. So since I was using Java, I had to use JDK. Okay. Yeah. But this Selenium is required. Okay, and that too, since I have used Java, it is Selenium Java jar. If you are using something else, you will get it on the net, on that particular website. It is Selenium HQ. So on Selenium website, you will get it. Okay. So after all these settings are done, you are ready to automate. Everyone else can hear, I think, Parul. So could you please check on your end? Let's go ahead. So what I have done is I have the I have already, written the code for Selenium Webdriver to run on Techcanvass website. Okay, so this one is for checking the title. Okay, this one is for checking the title. So I have the package name, which is TC test. Yes, I think there is some doubt. Okay, Paru. Great. So now what I have done is I have imported different files which are required for my. See, I have not used any framework, Champa, here. I have not used any framework because using framework, I mean, it covering the framework part with basics is not possible in 1.5 hours. Okay, so to understand it, you will need few days. Okay, in fact, maybe a month to cover everything from the start till the framework. Okay, framework is kind of a complicated thing which you will have, which is not very difficult to understand, but yes, you need some base for it. And I cannot use framework here, otherwise it would be very difficult for you to understand. Okay, so we are covering the basics here. Yeah, great, Champa. So now we are checking the title of the Techcanvass website. So here, this is the line wherein yes. So this is the line wherein we are declaring driver. So this is a reference of WebDriver. Okay. See, Swapnali, jar files have all the built-in codes and APIs in them. Okay. So if I am using Java, how this Java will run on? I mean, on what about the internal? Here, say for example, I have imported few things, right? Now, from where will it get it? Okay, so it needs jar files. Okay, to work, you need some platform, right? So that is why here we need jar files. So for Selenium, if you want to run Selenium code, you should have the base, the jar files wherein all the code for Selenium to run is required. Okay, so this is the base which we need. Yeah, that is what I am telling you, all the prerequisites. So the prerequisites are the jar files of the code of the programming language you are using, the Selenium. You will have to configure Eclipse. Okay, I showed you how to configure it. Okay, you will have to go into configure build path and you will have to configure it. Okay, so these all things you need. What is the need of jar files which are in line folder in Selenium? I didn't get you there. I'm sorry. In line folder in Selenium, what is it? Yeah, even that is required. Library folders have different jar files which are again required by Selenium to run. These are inbuilt things. Okay. For Selenium to run, you need all jar files. You need bin when executables are kept. You need lib folder wherein all the jar files are kept. Okay, so everything is required. Now here we have. Okay, I'm moving ahead now. Okay, even without that we can run. See, you are talking about grid now. Okay, hub and node. I'm just talking about the basics of Selenium. Okay, that we can that this we can discuss offline. But for the basics, you will have to have Selenium. Hub and node are there in Grid, but even then, you will have to have Selenium. Okay, it is not that you are running Selenium without Selenium files. You will have to have them. Okay. Um, Again, one query from someone. Okay. So now we'll see from the first line. It is public WebDriver. The access modifier is public. So since I'm using Java here, one of the access modifiers is public. Okay. And WebDriver here you can see org.openqa.selenium.webdriver. So this is inbuilt, right? And for this we have imported this thing, selenium.webdriver, right? So if we don't have library files or jar files, okay, we won't have this as well. So that is why we need it. Anyways, let's go ahead. And I have named it as driver. You can name it whatever you want, okay? But driver is what we prefer. You know, it is more understandable. So normally it is driver, okay? Now I have used a string, the header of the title of the page, which appears when we load Techcanvass. Okay. Now this is a test ng annotation. Fine. It is before class. We are using test ng here, so it is before class. So the whenever we are executing anything, so before the class file runs, this thing will get executed. Okay. So Firefox driver is what we are using, and so the driver here will talk to Firefox driver. Okay, you remember the architecture. So this is there, the driver, and now it is test. So whatever written in the test will be executed as a test script. So what I have asked here is to go on this website, get the title of the website, WebDriver is an interface. Okay, Amit, and it is already there in Selenium. Now we are creating a reference variable to WebDriver. Okay, and it is pointing to, I mean, it is of the, it is using Firefox driver. So this driver will now interact with the driver of the Firefox. Okay. Okay, so here title, we are getting the title and we are storing it in a string because it returns a string variable. Could you take questions after you finish? Yes, yes, sure, yeah, sure. Kaushik, I have already that in my plan. Okay, so we will be taking the questions, but there are some questions which are with respect to what I am telling you. So if it is asked later, maybe the context will differ. So there are few questions which needs to be answered right here. And yes, even I would agree that the questions which can be asked later, please ask them later only. Okay. Thank you, Kaushik. So now, since the get title driver.get title returns a string variable, we have to store it in a string. Okay. Now the title text will have the string, and now I am matching this text with what I have got from the application. If it is matching, I'll print match, or if it is not matching, I'll say not matched. And then after this execution is done, after class is executed, wherein the driver.quit is written. So what it does, it closes the browser. Okay. So now let us run this code. Okay. We'll run this one. This is the button to run the code, and even here we can say run as test. Now oh, so I hope you can see this is the screen which is running automatically because of the script which is running there on Eclipse. Okay, so I will again, I had to change the screen for sharing because it was running. So yes, this is the result. Okay, it passed and it was not matched. Why was it passed? Because it didn't show any error. Okay, and this is shown in green. So when it is passed, when the result is passed, it will show you passed. Okay, it will show you in green. Everything will be shown in green. There were no, this okay. Now I hope this you understood, because then I will show you the other example where we are filling up the contactors form, which we filled in using Selenium IDE. So now we will be doing it from Selenium Webdriver. This is the code. So here what we have done is we have again declared the driver. This is the same, the setup thing. Okay, but we have used an implicit wait here. Now what is implicit wait? Okay, so implicit wait is if the application is if some of the components in the application is not loaded, okay, it will wait for 15 seconds here to get it loaded. Okay, so this is implicit wait, and it is applicable to all the test scripts, all the elements in the test script. Okay, there are explicit waits also. Say for example, this one is an explicit wait wherein we are asking the Selenium, the driver, to wait for 2 seconds till the previous screen is populated. So even if the screen is populated with all the elements, it will wait for 2 seconds. Okay, however, in implicit wait, it is not necessary to wait for 15 seconds every time, right? But here it will have to wait for 2 seconds every time. Even if it is properly loaded, it will wait for 2 seconds. So it adds up to the delay. So we avoid using explicit waits. We normally prefer implicit wait. Okay, so now what we have done is I have written the code to get the URL. These are the X paths. So I'll tell you how to get the X path. Okay, so I'll share the screen with you. Okay, so this is the screen. No, you don't need to use it. In fact, if you have mentioned the code once, it will be applicable to all the elements in the application. So you don't need. Okay. Now, for Selenium, you need to have this firebug. I hope you can see this. There is a button called firebug. Okay, you should have it. So it is again a plugin. Okay, from in Firefox, and you can install it. Okay, it is used to identify the elements, right? So clicking it will show you this this thing. Okay, you can make it change the size. And this fire path, you will have to again install it again. You'll have to, you have already fire bug, but then for fire path again, you will have to get it from the Mozilla add-ons. Okay, here we have the options if we want XPath or CSS. Okay, and this is the pointer which is used to inspect any element. Okay, so I'll click it here. I'll go here. So now it shows me the XPath. Fine. If I'll say CSS, it will show me the CSS. One second. Yeah. So this is the CSS. Fine. So whatever kind of uh, locator you want, you will get it from this, from Firebird. Yeah. So this is here. Fine. So we are on contact us page. Okay. I want the XPath of this thing. So now this is what my XPath is, and this is relative XPath. It will only search for an ID whose name is txt name. Okay, which is txt name. It will search for it. Okay, and these are different attributes: class, type, style. Okay, name here. Even we can use name. So if I want to use these are the options. So driver.findElement by, I have used XPath. We can use class name, we can use CSS selector, we can use ID, and if you are using ID, you'll have to just mention txt name. Okay, then so this is how you find the XPath. So I hope everyone is now clear with the XPath part. Now let us go ahead and see the drop downs, how these drop downs are working. Yes, sure. I'll show you a little later. First, let's complete on Firefox, and then we'll get it from the Chrome as well. Moreover, one more thing I would like to tell you that yeah, in Chrome even there you can inspect the element, but mostly for XPaths we prefer Firefox, this Firebug. Okay, so even you support Chrome, you can use Firefox for Firebug in Firefox to get the XPaths. Okay, because it is not that user friendly in Chrome. So let's see how this drop down is handled. So in drop down we have select. Okay, and now in this we have different options. Okay, we have these 5 options. Okay, so these are the 5 options which are there. Okay, these are the value in these options. So the way we handle these drop down is slightly different than how we handle text boxes. So I'll share again my Eclipse. So here you will see for text boxes what we have done is we have simply asked for the XPath and we have simply clicked on it. So this is for text box, and I have used send keys. So now send keys, what it does, it types in the value I have written in that particular text box. Okay, here it is typing the email, here the phone number. Okay, but for drop downs we use select class, which is there in Selenium. Okay, we make an object of select class and we pass the XPath of that particular drop down, and then using this object now we are selecting the value, the visible text. I have used select by visible text, which is feedback. The other options you have is you can select by index, Okay, you can select by value as well, or visible text. So I have used visible text. Okay, there are many options available here. Get all selected options. So if you want to get all the options in that drop down, you can use this one. Okay, so this is how it has been done. Hmm. What you can do is you can also use before typing. Okay, you can also use this clear command to clear the text box. If, say for example, by default there in the text box something is mentioned, something is written, and you want to clear it, and then you want to enter your data. So this is how you can do that. Okay, I'll save it and I'll now run it. Okay, now I will have to share this new screen with you, which has been opened for running. Mm. Yes, so I hope you all can see this screen. So it is running automatically. Here it is. It has here it has mentioned everything what was there in my code. Okay, and now let us see the result. So this is the result. Okay, passed. It is passed and it has filled up all the values. Okay, okay. So this is how it works. This is about Selenium WebDriver. Fine. And now, do you have any queries? So this is question time, guys. You can go ahead with questions. Yeah, Firepath. No, it is not Firepath. It is something else. Okay, on Chrome browser, it is not Firepath. There we right click. So I'll try to show you. 1 second. Um, so I will. What I'll do is. I will try to show you how to get the X path. So can you see this screen? This is Chrome. Okay. Yeah. So now what if, say for example, I want to inspect this element. So I will right click here. I will say inspect. Okay. And now it is showing me here. Fine. It is showing me where it is. Okay. And now from it is already highlighting where home is. Okay. So this is the place it is highlighting. Okay, so let's see it again. I am saying inspect, it is highlighting this. Fine. Okay, this is here. Now what I will do is I will right click here. I will say copy, and I can copy my X path. Okay. Fine. I hope you understood it. So this is how Chrome works. Okay. In this way you can get the X paths in Chrome. Any other queries, guys? So yes, Om. So what you can do is in Selenium IDE, I showed you how to change the code. Okay, you can change it from the format, and now once it is changed, you can export it. So you have when you click on file, you will get. I'll 1 second. I'll share the screen with you, and I'll try to make you understand. So can you see this screen, Om? Om, can you see the screen? Could you please confirm so that I can go ahead? Okay, so I'll go ahead. I hope you can see the format here, or in options format, and then the language which you want to want this code to change to be changed. So here I have selected this. Now from the file, you click on export test case. You can do it here as well. It will get exported. Or what you can do it, you can simply Control A, Control C. Even this will copy your code, and you can paste it in your Eclipse. Fine. Is it? Are you clear? Okay. So, any more questions? Any more questions? People. No questions from anyone? Great. So, thank you everyone for watching this webinar. I hope it was understood. Yes, Vinay, the PPT would be shared by the Techcanvass team. You can, get in touch with them to get the PPT and the recordings. Okay.